My phone buzzed on the kitchen counter while I was drying dishes. I glanced down and saw a group photo. Champagne glasses raised. Everyone smiling under string lights at what looked like an expensive restaurant. My husband's entire family. His mother centered in the frame like a queen holding court. My stomach dropped before my brain caught up. I wasn't in that photo because I hadn't known it was happening. Then came the text from Belinda, my mother-in-law. "We're all at dinner, you should come." I checked the timestamp. The event had started 3 hours ago. The photo was taken 20 minutes ago. This wasn't an invitation. It was proof I'd been erased. I stood there, dish towel in hand, staring at those smiling faces. My chest felt tight. The front door opened. Owen walked in, loosening his tie, acting completely normal. He saw my face and stopped. "What's wrong?" he asked like he didn't already know. I turned the phone toward him. Owen glanced at the screen and shrugged. "Mom probably forgot to send it earlier," he said, heading to the fridge. "Forgot? Like it was an accident." "Owen, the dinner started 3 hours ago," I said, keeping my voice steady. "She just now texted me." He grabbed a water bottle and sighed like I was being difficult. "You're making drama again, Isla. She sent it as soon as she remembered. You can still go if you want." As soon as she remembered. I stared at him. This was the man I married, and he was gaslighting me in our own kitchen. "I'm not dressed. I'm not invited. This is humiliating," I said. Owen closed the fridge harder than necessary. "It's not that deep. You're too sensitive." Later that night, Belinda texted again. A heart emoji and the words, "You're always welcome, dear." I screenshot both messages. Something inside me shifted. This wasn't the first time I'd felt left out. It was just the first time I had proof. The next morning, I opened our shared family calendar on my laptop. The one Owen and I had used since we got married to track birthdays, holidays, and family events. I scrolled back through the last few months. Events I remembered being listed were gone. Cousin's birthday party. Belinda's book club charity dinner. A weekend brunch Owen had attended alone. I'd asked him about that brunch. He said it was last minute. But I distinctly remembered seeing it on the calendar weeks before. Now it wasn't there. I checked the revision history. My throat tightened. The edits had been made from Owen's account. Dates deleted. Events removed. All within hours of being posted. Someone was cleaning up the evidence. I sat back in my chair, hands shaking slightly. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was intentional. Calculated. I thought about confronting Owen again. But I already knew what he'd say. I was imagining things. Being paranoid. Making drama. So instead I started taking screenshots of everything. I opened the family group chat that afternoon. The one with Owen's siblings, their spouses, and Belinda. It had been quiet for weeks. Too quiet. I scrolled up through old messages and saw jokes, plans, and photos. Then I noticed something strange. The messages stopped abruptly 3 weeks ago. But when I refreshed the chat, new messages suddenly appeared. Dozens of them. They'd been there all along. I'd been muted. My notifications had been turned off without my knowledge. I read through the recent messages and my stomach turned. Guess who didn't show up again? One of Owen's brothers had written 2 days ago. Belinda had replied with a laughing emoji. Someone else added, "Classic Isla." I scrolled further. More jokes. More assumptions. All of them painting me as the family flake who couldn't be bothered to show up. No one questioned why. No one asked if I'd been invited. They just assumed I didn't care. And Belinda fed that narrative with every response. My hands were shaking now. Not from anger. From something deeper. Betrayal. A week later I met Owen's cousin for coffee. She'd texted asking to catch up, and I hoped maybe someone in the family still cared. We ordered lattes, made small talk, and then she said it. "You've been so busy lately. Too busy for family, I guess." She said it lightly like a joke. But her eyes weren't joking. "What do you mean?" I asked carefully. A shrug. "You never come to anything anymore." Belinda said you've been turning down invitations. My face went hot. I haven't turned down anything. I haven't been invited. She looked confused. That's not what Belinda said. Before I could respond, she leaned in and lowered her voice. Between you and me, she's hurt. She thinks you don't want to be part of the family. I wanted to scream, to show her the screenshots, the timestamps, the proof. But I didn't, 'cause I realized something in that moment. It didn't matter what I said. Belinda had already poisoned the well. My silence was noted. I saw it in her cousin's eyes. She thought I was lying. That night, I confronted Owen in our bedroom. I told him what his cousin had said, what Belinda had been telling people. He sat on the edge of the bed, avoiding my eyes. I heard, he admitted quietly. You heard and didn't say anything. My voice was louder now. You let your mother tell everyone I'm avoiding the family when you know that's not true? Owen rubbed his face. I didn't want to start a fight with her. It wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. Those 3 words landed like a slap. So I'm not worth defending? Yes. He looked up, frustrated now. You're twisting this. Mom's just sensitive. If I correct her, she'll make it a whole thing. She's already made it a whole thing, I said, my voice shaking. She's destroying my reputation, and you're letting her. Owen stood up. You're being dramatic. Just let it go. But I couldn't let it go. 'Cause I finally understood. Owen wasn't neutral. He was complicit. He chose his mother's comfort over my dignity. And he'd been doing it all along. I started documenting everything. Every late invitation. Every deleted calendar event. Every muted conversation. I created a folder on my laptop and labeled it with the date it all started. The pattern was clear. Belinda would announce an event publicly on social media. Then she'd send the family chat an invitation. But I'd only see it hours later, after everyone had already arrived. Same tactic, same timing, same fake innocence. This wasn't neglect. It was strategy. And Owen knew. He had to know. One evening I saw a post on Belinda's social media. A photo of her dining room decorated with balloons and flowers. The caption read, "So excited for this weekend celebration." I checked the family calendar. Nothing. I checked the group chat. Nothing. Waited. Days passed. The weekend arrived. Still no invitation. Then, right on schedule, my phone buzzed. "We're already here, come if you want." Belinda's text came through at 2 in the afternoon. The event had started at 11. I stared at my phone. And for the first time I didn't feel sad. Felt cold. Clear. Ready. I didn't respond emotionally. I didn't call Owen crying or text Belinda asking why. Instead I typed a simple reply. "Thank you for thinking of me. I'll definitely try to make the next one." I added a smiley face. Then I screenshot the entire exchange. Belinda replied immediately. "You're always welcome, sweetheart." Owen came home that night looking relieved. "I saw you texted Mom. I'm glad you're not mad." Smiled. "Why would I be mad?" He looked surprised, then pleased. Like he thought I'd finally stopped caring. They both thought they'd won. That I'd accepted my place as the optional family member. The one they could exclude without consequence. But I hadn't accepted anything. I just stopped playing their game. Now I was playing mine. Over the next 2 weeks I saved everything. Every message. Every timestamp. Every piece of evidence that showed this wasn't accidental. And then I found something that changed everything. An invitation that had been sent early, then deleted. I was scrolling through my email one night when I noticed something in my trash folder. An automated calendar invite from 3 weeks ago. I didn't remember seeing it. Opened it. It was for Owen's brother's engagement party. The invite had been sent 5 days before the event. Plenty of notice. But then I checked the metadata. The invite had been deleted 2 minutes after it was sent. Not by me. By the sender. I cross-referenced the date with a family group chat. Sure enough, there was a message from Belinda that same day. "Oops, sent that to the wrong list." New invite coming soon. But no new invite ever came. Not to me. I sat back, phone in hand, and felt something crack open inside me. This wasn't passive exclusion. This was active sabotage. Belinda had sent me the invitation, realized her mistake, and deleted it before I could respond. Then she sent a new one to everyone else. Owen had been at that party. I'd asked him why I wasn't invited. He said it was family only. I believed him. I screenshot the deleted email and added it to my folder. The next time I saw Owen, I asked him a question I'd been avoiding. We were sitting at the dinner table, eating in silence. I set down my fork. Owen, if this were happening to you, would you accept it? He looked up confused. Accept what? If my family excluded you, sent you late invitations, talked about you behind your back, would you just let it go? He stared at me for a long moment. Then he looked down at his plate. He didn't answer. That silence told me everything I needed to know. He wouldn't accept it. But he expected me to. Because in his mind, keeping his mother happy was more important than keeping me whole. I nodded slowly. That's what I thought. I stood up, took my plate to the sink and walked upstairs. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I was done asking for respect. From that moment on, I decided something. I would stop begging to be included. I would stop defending myself to people who already decided I was the problem. Instead, I would let them show everyone who they really were. 2 weeks later, Belinda made a big announcement on social media. She and Owen's father were celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary. There would be a dinner at an upscale restaurant downtown. Private room. Catered menu. The post was public. Everyone could see it, including me. The comments flooded in. Family members congratulating her. Friends saying they'd be there. And then Belinda commented on her own post. Hopefully everyone shows up this time, followed by a winking emoji. I knew exactly who she meant. The family group chat came alive. People confirming their attendance. Discussing what to wear. Planning carpools. Waited. Days passed. The event was scheduled for Saturday night. It was now Thursday. Still no invitation. Owen hadn't mentioned it once. Friday morning my phone finally buzzed. Belinda's text. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Can't wait to see you there. I read it twice. Then I did something I'd never done before. I replied immediately. I'll be there. Thank you for including me. Belinda's response came fast. Wonderful. But I could almost feel her confusion through the screen. She'd expected me to be upset, to make excuses. Instead, I'd called her bluff. Saturday evening I got ready carefully. I wore a simple black dress, did my makeup and tied my hair back. Owen watched me from the bedroom doorway, surprised. You're really coming? He asked. Of course, I said, meeting his eyes in the mirror. Your mother invited me. He looked uncomfortable. I just thought, after everything. After everything, what? I asked calmly. He didn't finish the sentence. We drove to the restaurant in silence. When we walked into the private dining room, I saw the surprise on Belinda's face. She recovered quickly, smiled wide, and hugged me like we were close. Isla, darling. So glad you could make it. I hugged her back. I wouldn't miss it. The room was full. Owen's siblings, their spouses, aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone dressed up, drinks in hand, laughter filling the space. I found a seat near the end of the table. Belinda stood at the head, making a toast. And then, halfway through her speech, she paused, looked directly at me, and said with a small laugh, It's so nice when everyone actually shows up for once. The table went quiet. Few people glanced at me. I didn't react. I just smiled. Belinda continued. It's hard when family doesn't make time for you. When people are just too busy. She sighed dramatically. But I always say you can't force people to care. The room was uncomfortable now. Someone coughed. Owen stared at his plate. And I realized this was it. This was the moment she'd been building toward. The public shaming. The final humiliation. She wanted everyone to see me as the villain. The ungrateful daughter-in-law who couldn't be bothered. I took a slow breath. Then I stood up. The room went silent. Belinda looked startled. Isla. I just want to say something, I said, keeping my voice calm and steady. Since we're talking about showing up. I reached into my purse and pulled out my phone. Owen's face went pale. Belinda's smile faltered. I walked to the front of the room where a small screen was set up for displaying photos. Connected my phone. And I started showing the receipts. Screenshot after screenshot. Timestamps. Deleted invitations. Muted group chats. Late texts sent hours after events started. Every piece of evidence I'd been collecting for months. The room was frozen. People leaned forward, reading the messages on the screen. I didn't rush. I let them see everything. This, I said, pointing to one screenshot, is from 3 months ago. Invitation sent at 9 p.m. for an event that started at 6. I moved to the next one. This is from 6 weeks ago. A calendar event that was deleted from the shared family calendar the same day it was posted. I showed the metadata. Edit history. All tied to Owen's account. Someone gasped. Kept going. This is the family group chat. I was muted for 3 weeks without my knowledge. During that time, jokes were made about me not showing up. No one asked why. No one questioned if I'd even been invited. Belinda tried to interrupt. Isla, this is a misunderstanding. No, I said, my voice still calm. This is a pattern. I showed the deleted email invitation. The one sent and removed within 2 minutes. This was sent to me, then deleted before I could see it. Then a new invitation was sent to everyone else. I was told it was family only. I looked at Owen. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Someone from the table spoke up. Owen's brother. Is this true? He asked, looking at Belinda. She stammered. I didn't mean. Sometimes things get confusing. Confusing, I repeated. Or intentional. The room shifted. People who had laughed at jokes about me not showing up were now seeing the truth. I wasn't absent because I didn't care. I was absent because I was never really invited. Belinda's face was red. You're twisting this, she said, her voice rising. I've always welcomed you. Always. Then why, I asked, holding up my phone. Do I have months of evidence showing the opposite? She had no answer. The carefully constructed image she'd built, the loving matriarch who just wanted her family together, was crumbling. And everyone was watching. Owen finally spoke. Isla, can we talk about this at home? No, I said. Because at home you tell me I'm imagining things. That I'm too sensitive. That I'm making drama. I looked around the room. But this isn't drama. This is proof. Someone asked Owen directly. Why didn't you ever defend her? He opened his mouth, closed it. No words came out. His silence screamed louder than any accusation I could have made. I took a breath and said the words I'd been holding inside for months. I will no longer attend events where I'm treated as optional. Where my presence is a joke and my absence is expected. My voice was steady, firm. I deserve to be invited with respect. And if that's not possible, then I'd rather not come at all. The room was silent. Belinda looked like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. I could see her mask slipping. The control she'd always had was gone. Then she snapped. You're turning everyone against me, she shouted. This is my anniversary, and you're ruining it. Her voice was shrill now, desperate. People looked away, uncomfortable. This wasn't the composed, gracious woman they knew. This was someone losing control. Owen reached for my hand under the table. Pulled away. It was too late for gestures. Too late for apologies whispered in private. He'd had months to stand up for me. He chose silence. I picked up my purse, disconnected my phone from the screen, and walked toward the door. No one stopped me. No dramatic exit speech. No tears. Just quiet dignity. I left that restaurant alone. And for the first time in months I felt lighter. My phone started buzzing before I even got to my car. Texts from Owen. Calls from his siblings. Messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. I silenced them all. I drove home, changed into comfortable clothes, and made myself tea. I sat on my couch and stared at the dark TV screen, letting the silence settle around me. I wasn't angry. I was clear. The next morning the messages continued. Apologies from cousins who said they didn't know. Relatives who claimed they'd had no idea what was happening. One of Owen's sisters called and left a voicemail. "I'm so sorry, Isla. I should have asked more questions. I should have checked on you." I appreciated the words. But I also knew the truth. They didn't ask because it was easier not to. Easier to believe Belinda's version. Easier to assume I was the problem. Owen came home Sunday afternoon. I was reading on the couch when he walked in. He looked exhausted. Defeated. "We need to talk," he said quietly. I set down my book. "Okay." He sat across from me, hands folded. "I messed up. I should have defended you. I should have said something. Waited. I didn't want to cause problems with my mom. So you caused problems with me instead," I said. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I know I did. And I'm sorry." I looked at him. This man I'd loved. The one I thought would stand beside me. "Sorry doesn't fix months of humiliation, Owen. Sorry doesn't undo the damage." "I know," he whispered. "But I want to try. I want to fix this." I took a deep breath. "I don't think you can." He looked up, panicked. "What does that mean?" "It means," I said carefully, "that I can't be in a marriage where I have to beg to be treated with basic respect. Where your mother's feelings matter more than mine. Where my dignity is negotiable." Owen's face crumpled. "Are you leaving me?" I didn't answer right away. Because I was still figuring it out myself. "I think," I finally said, "that we need space. I need space." He started to argue, then stopped. Maybe he finally understood. This wasn't something he could fix with apologies and promises. Trust, once broken this deeply, doesn't heal overnight. It might not heal at all. The next day, I packed a bag and stayed with a friend. Owen didn't try to stop me. I filed for separation the following week. The first few weeks were hard. Not because I missed Owen, but because I was grieving the version of him I thought I married. The man who would have protected me, who would have chosen me. That man never existed. Or maybe he did once, and I just didn't see when he stopped being that person. Belinda went silent. No more text. No more social media posts tagging the family. I heard through Owen's sister that she was upset, embarrassed, trying to convince people that I'd overreacted. But the receipts didn't lie. The family had seen the proof. Some people reached out to apologize. Others stayed quiet, probably uncomfortable with the mess. I didn't hold grudges. I just moved forward. I started therapy. Started rebuilding my sense of self outside of Owen's family. Outside of the version of me that bent and shrank to fit their expectations. And slowly, I started to remember who I was before I spent so much energy trying to be accepted. I was stronger than I thought. Clearer. More whole. One afternoon, 3 months after I'd left, I got a text from Belinda. "Can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time. Then I replied, "No. I don't think that's a good idea." She didn't push. I blocked her number. Owen and I finalized the separation 6 months later. It was quiet. Civil. We divided our things, signed papers, and walked away from what we'd built. He asked one last time if I'd reconsider. I told him the truth. I can't be with someone who won't fight for me. He nodded. Didn't argue. Maybe he finally understood. A year after everything fell apart, I got an invitation in the mail. It was from Owen's youngest cousin. She was getting married. The invitation was addressed to me. Just me. It arrived 3 months before the wedding. Proper notice. Respectful. I stared at it, surprised. Then I read the note inside. I know things have been complicated, but I've always considered you family. I'd love for you to be there if you're comfortable. No pressure. Smiled. It was the first real invitation I'd received from that family in years. I thought about it for a few days. Then I RSVP'd. I wrote a kind note thanking her but declining. Not out of anger, but because I'd moved on. I had my own life now. My own circle. My own peace. Being included felt good. But I no longer needed their inclusion to feel whole. I started attending events that mattered to me. Dinners with friends who'd supported me through everything. Gatherings where I didn't have to prove my worth or explain my presence. I laughed more. Relaxed more. Stopped checking my phone obsessively for messages that never came. One evening, I ran into one of Owen's brothers at a coffee shop. He looked uncomfortable when he saw me. Isla. Hi. Hi, I said, polite but distant. He hesitated. I just wanted to say, sorry, for everything. I didn't realize how bad it was. He nodded. I appreciate that. He shifted his weight. Owen's not doing great, you know. He misses you. I didn't know what to say to that. So I just said, I hope he's okay. 'Cause I meant it. I didn't wish him harm. I just couldn't be the one to save him from the consequences of his choices. We said goodbye and I left. As I walked to my car, I realized something. I didn't feel angry anymore. I didn't feel bitter. I just felt free. Free from the weight of trying to fit into a family that never made room for me. Free from the exhausting work of proving I was enough. I rebuilt my life piece by piece. New routines. New goals. I took up hobbies I'd abandoned. Reconnected with old friends. Started saying yes to things that scared me and no to things that drained me. People asked if I was okay. If I was healing. I told them the truth. I was better than okay. I was learning what it meant to take up space without apology. To set boundaries without guilt. To walk away from people who didn't value me. One night I got a message from Owen's sister. The one who'd apologized months ago. She asked if I'd be willing to meet for coffee. Thought about it. Then I agreed. We met at a quiet cafe. She looked nervous. I don't want to make excuses, she started. But I want you to know that things have changed. Mom's been different since everything happened. Quieter. I think she finally realized what she did. Listened. Owen's in therapy, she continued. He's trying to work through why he let it happen. Why he didn't protect you. I nodded slowly. That's good. I hope it helps him. Do you think? She hesitated. Do you think you'd ever consider reconciling? I looked at her. Kind, genuine, hopeful. No, I said gently. I don't. She looked sad but not surprised. I understand. It's not about anger, I explained. It's about knowing what I need. And I need someone who doesn't have to be taught to respect me. Someone who doesn't choose comfort over my dignity. She nodded. You deserve that. We talked for a while longer. She told me about her life, her kids, her job. I shared bits about mine. When we left, she hugged me. I'm really glad you're doing well, Isla. Me too, I said. And I meant it. Months turned into a year. Then another. I stopped hearing from Owen's family altogether. The separation became a divorce. Final. Legal. I didn't attend any more events. Didn't follow their social media. Didn't keep track of birthdays or holidays. I let that chapter of my life close completely. And in the space it left behind, I built something new. Something mine. I dated eventually. Slowly. Carefully. I didn't rush into anything. I learned what red flags looked like. I learned to trust my instincts. And when I finally met someone who treated me with consistent respect, who didn't make me guess or wonder or shrink, I knew what a healthy relationship felt like. Because I'd learned what it wasn't. 2 years after everything fell apart, I got one last message from Belinda. Came through a mutual friend because I'd blocked her number. The message was simple. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I hope you're well. I read it. Then I deleted it. Not out of spite. But because I didn't need her apology to move forward. I'd already moved forward without it. That same week, I got an invitation to a family reunion. Owen's extended family. The kind of big event they held every few years. The invitation was addressed to me and sent early. 3 months' notice. Personal note asking if I'd come. I held the card in my hand, surprised. Part of me was curious, tempted even. But then I thought about who I'd become. The version of me who didn't need to prove anything. Who didn't need to be seen by people who'd refused to see me when it mattered. I wrote a polite reply. Thanked them for the invitation. And declined. Not because I was bitter. But because I'd built a life that didn't revolve around their approval. A life where I was the priority. Where my presence wasn't negotiable. And that life was full. Complete. Whole. Now, when people ask me about that time, I tell them the truth. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about making anyone suffer. It was about finding my voice. About refusing to be erased. The late invitations taught me something I'll never forget. They taught me that waiting for other people to value you is a losing game. That respect isn't given. It's required. They taught me to stop shrinking. To stop apologizing for taking up space. To stop begging for a seat at tables where I was never truly welcome. And most importantly, they taught me that walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. I still get invitations sometimes. From old friends. From people who stayed kind. From new circles I've built. And now I say yes to the ones that feel right. The ones where I'm included early. Where my presence is wanted, not tolerated. Where I don't have to wonder if I'm welcome. I don't wait anymore. Not for invitations. Not for apologies. Not for people to change. I show up for myself now. Fully. Unapologetically. Time. And that's the best invitation I've ever received.